Forgotten legends. The stars had always carried whispers. Among the vast halls of the Galactic Council, where hundreds of alien races gathered under one shining roof, there were stories no one spoke of aloud. Old records, half erased from memory banks, and fragments of warnings carved into stone long before technology ruled the skies. They all carried one name: humans. For the younger races, it was nothing more than myth. A bedtime tale told by alien elders to discipline their young. They said the humans had once existed long before the Council was born. A race so fierce, so unpredictable, that even the strongest empires trembled at the sound of their drums of war. But in time, the stories faded. Civilizations grew, empires expanded, and like smoke drifting into the cold night, the humans were forgotten. Forgotten until a signal appeared, on the edge of Council space, near a quiet mining colony orbiting a dead sun. Long-range sensors detected something impossible. It was faint, broken by static, but its pattern was clear. It was a distress beacon, one that matched no alien code known today. It was old, older than the Council itself. But to those who studied history, it was unmistakable. It was human. The first officer who discovered it, a scaled alien with green skin and silver eyes, stared at the signal in disbelief. "This is not real," he whispered. His claws trembled as he replayed it again and again. "Humans are gone. They cannot return." But the beacon continued, sending out its cry across the void, repeating the same strange tone. The council chamber soon filled with noise. Ambassadors shouted across the round hall, their voices rising into chaos. Some demanded silence, insisting the signal was a hoax planted by pirates. Others leaned forward with genuine fear in their eyes. "We erased them," hissed one elder from the insectoid races. "Centuries ago, we swore never to let their fire return." The high speaker of the council raised a hand and the chamber grew still. His voice was calm, but beneath his calmness was unease. Legends are legends. But legends often hold truth. If this signal is genuine, then we must face what our ancestors feared most. A silence followed. The signal played again, echoing through the council's halls like the voice of a ghost. Far away in the mining colony where it was first heard, the beacon grew stronger. At first, ships were sent to investigate, patrol craft with their weapons armed, prepared for smugglers or raiders. They expected rusting machines, drifting debris, maybe an old satellite lost in time. What they found instead was something else entirely. It was a ship. Its design was simple, nothing like the elegant curves of alien vessels. It was a block of steel scarred, blackened by centuries of silence, but it was alive. Its engines burned with blue fire, steady and unyielding. No one knew how long it had been hidden, waiting. And carved into its side were the letters no alien had ever dared to imagine seeing again. UNS United Nations ship. The patrol crew froze, unable to move. Their scanners told them it was human-made, human and active. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. Systems far from the Council core whispered in fear. In dark cantinas, smugglers told each other that ghosts had returned. Farmers under alien suns prayed their children would never see the human fleet with their own eyes. For the Council, it was more than just fear. It was memory. Their archives, secret, hidden from most of the galaxy, still contained files locked away. Files that spoke of human wars, human rage, and human victories. No matter the weapon, no matter the enemy, humans had fought until the stars themselves grew silent. And when the Council was young, they had united for one purpose: to remove the human threat. But history, no matter how carefully erased, always leaves traces. And now, the traces had returned. In one quiet corner of the Council chamber, an old historian spoke words that chilled those who heard them. "You cannot kill a legend. You cannot bury a fire. Humans will return because this galaxy itself remembers them." The high speaker ordered silence once more. "We must not panic. We will send envoys. We will understand what this is." His words were heavy with control, but his eyes betrayed him. He too remembered the stories, and in the cold dark beyond the Council's reach, more signals began to appear. Not just one, not two, but dozens. Beacons lighting up like forgotten stars, calling to each other across the void. The first patrol ship that had found the UNS vessel did not return. Their last transmission was filled with static, but through the broken noise, one word escaped: A single word in human tongue, sharp and terrifying that no alien could forget after hearing it. Home. The galaxy trembled, though no war had begun. Every system felt it like a coming storm. They had thought humans were gone. They had thought legends were dead. But the sound of that word, carried through the stars, proved otherwise. And so began the first whispers across the council. The humans are back. The silent arrival, the council tried to calm the galaxy, but fear traveled faster than light. Rumors spread in every market, every tavern, every shadow where voices gathered. Some said the humans had been sleeping under the stars waiting for revenge. Others claimed they had built secret colonies beyond the edge of known space. But one truth could not be hidden. The signals were real and the first ship had already been seen. In the star system of Harkesh, a line of patrol ships floated near the border. Their orders were strict. Investigate the new signals, confirm the truth, and if necessary, destroy the source. The commanders spoke with confidence, their voices sharp over the comms. It will be easy. If these so-called humans survived, their technology must be old. Their ships will crumble against our firepower. But when the fleet entered the system, silence met them. The system's single star glowed weakly, painting long shadows across the frozen planets. Asteroids drifted quietly, their surfaces black and cracked. At first, there was nothing. No ships, no structures, no signs of life. The patrol commander relaxed. Another false alarm, he muttered. Legends do not fly starships. Then their scanners lit up. Hundreds of small contacts appeared at once as if the void itself had awakened. Ships dark and cold emerging from behind asteroids, from the cover of planetary shadows, from places no one expected. They moved in silence without a single broadcast, without a single warning. Their engines burned blue but faint like whispers of light. One of the younger officers on the patrol ship gasped. They are surrounding us. The commander narrowed his eyes. Identify them, but the computer already had. The design was unmistakable. Rectangular hulls, brutal simplicity, no decoration. Weapons mounted like clenched fists along the steel plates. They were not elegant like council ships. They were not graceful. They were human. The patrol fleet froze in disbelief, and then the humans spoke. A single transmission pierced the silence, deep and steady, translated by the council's universal systems. You are trespassing. The patrol commander forced a laugh. Do you expect us to believe you are human? That is impossible. But the voice repeated, calm and unshaken. Leave this system. Do not test us. Silence followed. The patrol ships hesitated, their weapons warming. They were trained to fight pirates, raiders, even hostile empires. But something in the voice, something cold, something certain, made their hands tremble. Finally, one of the younger captains broke the tension. We should retreat. The legend spoke of their tactics. They do not bluff, the commander shook his head. Pride and fear of looking weak before the council chained his decision. Fire. The first volley of energy beams lit the dark sky. Dozens of shots streaked toward the silent human fleet. For a moment, the void itself seemed to hold its breath. The beams struck, but instead of exploding, they bent, shattered, and dispersed as if striking invisible shields. Gasps echoed across the patrol ships. That is impossible, one officer cried. The humans finally moved. Their ships surged forward with terrifying precision, weaving through asteroids with perfect coordination. They did not fire all at once. They did not waste power. Each shot was calculated, surgical, hitting engines, cutting power, disabling ships with merciless accuracy. Within minutes, the patrol fleet was broken. The commander's ship shuddered, systems failing, alarms blaring. His eyes widened as his console displayed a human vessel locking on. He whispered almost to himself. The legends were true. The human ship did not destroy him. Instead, his screens went black and a final message appeared in plain letters. Leave. This is your only warning. And then the human fleet vanished into the shadows, dispersing as if they had never been there. When the surviving patrol ships limped back to council space, the chamber of leaders filled with chaos. Reports clashed, but the message was clear. The humans were not weak. Their ships were not old. They were alive, disciplined, and terrifyingly efficient. The high speaker's voice shook for the first time in decades. How many? He asked the commander. The alien's eyes were hollow. We counted 50 in the shadows. But the way they moved, it felt like thousands were watching. A cold silence filled the chamber. Across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. Civilizations that once trusted the Council now questioned their safety. Old races that remembered fragments of human wars closed their borders and armed their fleets. Even the most distant colonies felt it, like the first tremor before a great quake. And in the hidden corners of space, more human ships awakened. They did not speak much. They did not broadcast their power. They simply arrived, silent and unyielding, like shadows spreading across the stars. In the Council's secret archives, one ancient line of text was unlocked by fearful historians, a warning written long ago by an alien admiral who had fought the last human war. Fear not their weapons. Fear their silence. When the humans arrive, they will not announce war. They will simply take what was once theirs. The Council realized too late that the silent arrival had already begun. Clash of wills, the Council could not ignore the truth anymore. Reports had arrived from 3 different border systems. Every time the story was the same. Patrol fleets went to investigate the signals. Every time they came back broken, if they came back at all. And the message left behind by the humans was always the same. Leave. Inside the Great Council chamber, leaders argued with sharp voices that echoed against the tall glass walls. Some demanded peace talks. Others demanded immediate war. Old races who remembered the human wars centuries ago sat in silence, their eyes heavy with fear. The High Speaker struck the floor with his staff, forcing the chamber to still. We cannot run from this. If they are humans, then they must be confronted before they rise again. If we hesitate, the galaxy itself will turn against us. Already the colonies whisper about Council weakness. No, we must act. And so the order was given. A grand fleet was assembled, one of the largest in decades. 50 warships, sleek and advanced, each bristling with energy cannons and shields that shimmered like glass. Commanders reassured their crews. We have the numbers. We have the power. They are nothing but survivors of an old age. They will fall. The fleet crossed into the border system where the latest human signal had been detected. At first, the system looked quiet. A red sun burned in the distance. Silent moons circled a gas giant, their shadows stretching long across the frozen rings. The alien commanders were confident. Scan the system. Flush them out. End this. But as the ships spread out, the humans revealed themselves. One by one, ships emerged from the rings, their metal hulls coated in frozen dust, hidden until the perfect moment. They did not charge. They did not shout. They only moved into formation, block by block, line by line, like soldiers answering a silent command. There were only 20 human ships, less than half the size of the Council fleet. Yet their presence filled the system like thunder. The alien commander laughed over the comms, masking his unease. You are outnumbered. You have no chance. Surrender, and we may spare you. The human reply came seconds later, calm and final. Numbers do not decide battles. Will does. And then the clash began. The Council fleet fired first, filling the system with beams of energy. The sky lit up in streaks of white fire. Explosions tore across asteroids. For a moment it seemed the humans would be crushed under the storm. But the humans moved. Their ships darted in strange, unpredictable patterns. They wove between the beams, using the rings and asteroids as shields, disappearing and reappearing like ghosts. And when they fired back, it was with brutal precision. They did not waste shots. Every blast found its target. An engine, a weapon mount, a vulnerable joint in the shield. Within minutes, the Council fleet lost 5 ships. Panic spread. The alien crews had never seen such tactics. Their training was built on order and formation. The humans were chaos wrapped in steel. Their every move defied logic, yet every strike carried purpose. The alien commander shouted, "Hold the line! Overwhelm them!" But the line was already breaking. Ships collided as they tried to escape the human traps. Others were pulled into ambushes between asteroids. The Council's numbers turned against them, ships crowding and stumbling over each other while the humans struck in silence. One alien officer whispered, trembling, This is not battle. This is slaughter." In the heart of the chaos, the human flagship broke through the center of the fleet. It moved like a predator among prey, tearing into the largest Council ship. Boarding pods launched, slamming into the alien vessel. Screams echoed through the comms as human soldiers poured inside. No one had seen humans in centuries. The aliens expected monsters. What they saw were men and women in armor. their faces calm, their eyes burning with unshaken resolve. They moved without hesitation, their blades and rifles cutting through resistance. The alien crew fought back, but it was like throwing sand against a storm. The alien commander finally gave the order to retreat, but by then it was too late. The humans did not chase them. They did not destroy the survivors. As the broken council ships limped away, a single message followed them, cold and sharp. Do not return. This system is ours. When the survivors reached council space, the chamber once again filled with shouting. Leaders demanded explanations. How could 20 ships destroy half of the council's fleet? How could a legend from the past defeat the most advanced weapons of the present? The High Speaker sat in silence, his eyes heavy. At last he spoke. We forgot the truth. We believed our numbers would save us, but numbers mean nothing against those who fight as one will. Whispers began to spread even inside the council itself. Some said war was already lost. Some argued to seek peace before the humans grew stronger. But others, blinded by pride, demanded more fleets, more weapons, more fire. Far away, in the silence of the Red Star system, the human fleet stood unbroken. Their ships circled the gas giant like guardians, silent and watchful. They did not celebrate. They did not cheer. They simply prepared for what they knew was coming next. Because for the humans, this battle had never been about victory. It had been a warning the Council had failed to hear. The dark memory of Earth, the Council chamber had grown cold. After the clash at the Red Star system, after the defeat that no one could deny, the air inside the Great Hall felt heavy. The leaders of alien races sat in silence, their faces pale with fear. For the first time in centuries, they were forced to speak the name they had tried to erase from history. Humans. The High Speaker turned toward the archivists, keepers of knowledge, guardians of secrets locked away from public eyes. Bring the records, he ordered. His voice echoed like thunder, though inside he trembled. The archivist hesitated. Those records were never meant to be seen again. They were sealed after the last human war, buried deep under lies, hidden under stories of extinction. But now there was no choice. The seals were broken. Holograms flickered to life across the chamber. Old images appeared, grainy, ancient recordings. They showed fleets of metal ships moving through the stars. They showed worlds burning, cities reduced to ash. They showed armies of humans standing shoulder to shoulder, never breaking, never running. Gasps spread among the younger delegates. For them, humans had always been myths. To see them alive, to see them real, was like staring into the face of a ghost. One historian, his voice weak with age, began to speak. Humans were not erased by time. They were erased by us. Long ago, when the Council was young, we feared them. Not for their weapons, not for their ships, but for what they were. What were they? A young ambassador asked, his voice trembling. The historian's eyes were dark as stone. They were different. They adapted faster than any race. They turned defeat into victory. They thrived where others perished. Every enemy that fought them thought they would win with numbers or strength. Every enemy was wrong. The chamber grew still. Another recording played. It showed a battle where humans had been outnumbered 10-1. Alien fleets had surrounded them, believing it would be the final strike. But the humans had fought back with impossible tactics, turning their weakness into traps, breaking the enemy line and turning the tide. The historian continued. The Council did not unite for peace. That is the lie we tell our people. We united for survival. We united because one race forced us to. We erased them from history not because they vanished, but because we wanted to forget our fear. The silence was crushing. No one dared speak. But then another voice rose from the shadows of the chamber. It was an elder from the insectoid races, his voice sharp and bitter. We did more than erase them. We destroyed their home. Do not hide it. The chamber erupted in shock. The younger races turned to him, their jaws dropping. Destroyed? One cried. You mean Earth? The elder nodded. His mandibles clicked slowly. Yes, the human's cradle. The world they called Earth. It was burned by our fleets, bombarded until oceans boiled and skies fell. We thought it was enough. We thought without their world they would die. We were wrong. The truth fell like a blade. Earth had been destroyed. The very heart of human identity had been taken from them. And yet they had survived. They had hidden. They had rebuilt. And now they had returned. The High Speaker's voice cracked as he asked, why did they survive? How? The historian gave a bitter smile. because that is what they do. Survival is not their gift. It is their nature. Meanwhile, far beyond the Council's walls in the silence of deep space, the humans were not idle. Their fleets grew, more signals lighting up across the stars. Abandoned colonies, forgotten stations, hidden caches, one by one they awoke, each adding strength to the rising tide. On the bridge of a human flagship, an old admiral stood in silence. His uniform was plain, his eyes steady. He had watched his world burn. He had lived through exile, and now he watched as the galaxy that betrayed his people trembled once more. "They remember us as monsters," he said to his officers. "They remember us as war and fire. But they forget the truth. We never fought for power. We fought to survive, and now we will reclaim what was taken." His officers nodded, their faces unshaken. For them, Earth was not just a memory. It was a scar, carved deep into their blood. Back in the council chamber, fear turned to division. Some ambassadors demanded peace talks. Others demanded more fleets, more weapons, more lies to keep their citizens calm. But under all their shouting, one truth pressed against them like a weight they could not escape. The humans had not returned for conquest. They had returned for justice. And justice to those who had buried Earth under fire was more terrifying than war itself. As the council argued, a final recording played from the archives. It was the voice of a dying alien admiral from centuries ago, his face bloodied, his eyes hollow. His last words, recorded in the chaos of a burning fleet, whispered across the chamber, "Do not think you have ended them. You have only delayed them. And when they return, the galaxy will remember." The hologram faded. No one in the chamber spoke after that. And in the silence, the dark memory of Earth began to breathe again, the shaking of the galaxy. The galaxy had reached a breaking point. Rumors of human victories had spread too far to be silenced. Colonies whispered that the council was weak. Merchants refused to send their ships through border systems where human signals had been seen. And whole worlds once loyal to the council now questioned whether their protectors were capable of protecting anything at all. The council knew it could not wait any longer. Pride demanded action. Fear demanded control. And so the largest fleet in living memory was assembled. Hundreds of ships gathered at the council's core world. Armored dreadnoughts, swift cruisers, carriers with wings of fighters. The sight was magnificent. Metal and light stretching across the sky, a sea of power that made the stars themselves seem small. Leaders pointed to it with hope. No force can stand against this, not even humans. But hope and truth rarely walk the same path. The humans were waiting. Deep in the uncharted void, where the maps ended and the council dared not go, human fleets gathered like storm clouds. Their ships were not as many, not as large, not as polished, but they carried something the council had forgotten. A unity born of fire, a will carved from centuries of survival. On the bridge of the human flagship, the admiral stood tall, his face lit by the pale glow of stars. Around him, officers moved with calm precision. There was no fear in their eyes, only resolve. "They will come with numbers," the admiral said. "They will come with arrogance. And they will believe that history protects them. But history belongs to us. Today they will remember why they feared our name." The council fleet moved first. Their armada swept into the contested border, confident, unstoppable. The first clash came near a dying sun, its light weak, its planets long dead. It was there that the humans chose to stand. The council commanders sent a final message. "You are surrounded. You are outnumbered. Surrender and you may live." The humans replied with silence, and then the battle began. The sky erupted in fire. Council beams scorched the void, burning through asteroids and tearing open fragments of moons. The humans answered with steel and fury. Their ships weaved through the chaos, striking like blades in the dark. For every 10 council ships, only one human ship fell, but it was not the weapons that broke the council. It was the tactics. The humans fought like no other race. Their movements were unpredictable yet perfectly coordinated. They used the battlefield itself, gravity wells, asteroid fields, even the dying sun's magnetic storms, to twist the fight in their favor. Council formations shattered, their strength turned into weakness. In the chaos, the human flagship pierced the council's center. Boarding pods launched, slamming into dreadnought hulls. Human soldiers poured inside, silent and unstoppable. The council crews fought back, but the humans never yielded. Their eyes burned with something the aliens could not understand. Something colder than hate, stronger than fear. On one council dreadnought, a captain stared in horror as humans stormed his command deck. He raised his weapon, but the human leader simply looked at him and spoke. "This is not conquest. This is justice." Then the council ship went dark. The battle raged for hours. Council ships fell one after another, until the armada that was meant to crush the humans lay broken. Fires burned across the void. Wreckage drifted like silent tombs. And yet the humans still stood. At last, the council flagship itself was struck. The High Admiral of the council, his voice shaking, sent a desperate message across all channels. "Stop this. We can negotiate. We can—" The human admiral's voice cut him off, calm and final. "You destroyed our home. You erased our name. But you could not erase our will. And now the galaxy remembers." A final volley from the human fleet tore through the council flagship. The great ship split apart, its fire lighting the dead system brighter than its own dying sun. The council armada was broken. The survivors fled, scattered and silent, carrying with them the weight of fear that could not be buried again. Across the galaxy, the news spread like lightning. Worlds that had once whispered now shouted. Civilizations long oppressed by the council raised their heads. Smugglers, farmers, soldiers, everyone knew the truth. The humans had returned and nothing would ever be the same. In the council chamber, the leaders sat in shock. No one spoke. No one could. For the first time in centuries, the council trembled, not from outside threats, but from within. Their lies had shattered, their control had broken, and above all, their greatest nightmare had come to life. Far away in the silence of his flagship, the human admiral stood before the stars. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. His words were simple, heavy with truth. "We are not legends. We are not myths. We are human, and we never forget." The galaxy shook with those words, carried across every world, every system, every heart, and the age of forgetting was over.